Hello and welcome to more excitement with compound verbs. I have a new thing I want you to do. I want you to get up out of your seat if you can, and I want you to show me two things that you can do moving. And then I want you to have a piece of paper out in front of you, and I want you to write down what those two things were. Go. Pause the video if you need to. What were some of those things? Did you jump and laugh? Did you skip and hiccup? I want to know what you did. I want you to write it down. You're going to take a picture of it. So I want you to make sure you have a piece of paper out in front of you, and you're going to write down some things for me today. I want you to write down something that you could do that is similar to, but not exactly walking. I want you to I want you to write the word walk. Well, what else could you do to get somewhere besides walk? Write down a couple. Pause it if you need to. Okay, what are some of the other things you could do besides walk? I so wish we were in class together. It would be so much more fun. But you could walk, you could skip, you could bounce, you could jog, you could run, you could mosey. I don't know if that's how you spell mosey. You could gallop. You could saunter. You could prance. What else? Lots of things. Well, you know what all of these are? These right here are similar to each other. There are ways that you could travel. They're synonyms. Other ways to say I walked. Well, could you be more specific about how you walked? I walked, I skipped, I bounced, I jogged, I ran, I moseyed, I galloped, I sauntered, I pranced. All of those give a very specific picture of what you're doing as you're moving from one place to another. Great writers choose interesting words. They often use this word right here, synonyms. Say that with me, synonyms. I have a little chant for you. Synonyms are similar. Antonyms are opposite. Synonyms are similar. Antonyms are opposite. So synonyms are words that are similar in meaning. They don't mean exactly the same thing, or they don't have to, but they're similar in meaning. They're just different words saying about the same thing. So you're going to get to practice doing those today in your workbook. You're going to come up with another way to say the same thing in a verb. This is going to make you a great storyteller because it's very boring to use the same verbs over and over again when your character is walking down the street and then they're walking to this place and then they're walking to another place. Well, no, give us some more interesting words, all right? You can also combine the word with a completely different word in a compound verb. You can combine jump with laugh, jump and laugh. But you could also combine it with something similar. You could jump and skip. So just because you have a compound verb in a sentence doesn't mean that the actions have to be very different from each other. They could be very similar to each other and just be more interesting word choices combined for emphasis as you're a storyteller, okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to look at page 158 in your workbook, page 158. I want you to look at the sentences there at the bottom on page 158 and 159. And it says you're going to, in number 2, I'm skipping to number 2. Imagine how different people and animals walk. With that in mind, write the following sentences using synonyms for the word walk. So instead of saying you're writing a sentence in A about a girl walking, I want you to talk about what else the girl is doing. You have to come up with the sentence. I want you to use more than just a subject and a verb. Do not say, the girls skipped. That's a first grade sentence, and you're almost in third grade. So you need to add some adjectives. You need to tell me what kind of girl she is. I want you to have an adjective, and I want you to have the girl, describe that girl for me, and then give me another word for walked, and then tell me where she walked. Or put an adverb in there, or a prepositional phrase, or a compound verb. You may not use the word walk or walked, and you have to make your sentence interesting. You're almost in third grade, ladies and gentlemen. You need to write like that. No more simple, very simple sentences. Letter B on page 159, write a sentence about a poodle walking. Now, a poodle is a type of dog, and they walk very differently than a human being. So think about what that word might be. I want you to use an adjective, describe that poodle. Give me a verb that's not walk or walking. And then you give me a prepositional phrase or something interesting at the end of the sentence. Letter C, write a sentence about a scientist walking. Now, a scientist might move differently than a poodle or a girl. So how does a scientist walk? Do they wander? Do they march? What do they do? How does a scientist walk? So, and also I want you to add an adjective and the scientist and tell me where that scientist is moving and how they're moving with a different verb, okay? If I get those sentences back and they're super simple and they don't have some interesting elements in them, you're gonna get it back and get to do it again. Right now, I want you to take a look at letter A on page 158. You're going to analyze it and then you're gonna check with me. Here's your sentence. 4 girls wrapped and stacked the birthday gifts. You're gonna start with your conjunctions. Mark your conjunctions, then do your phrases, clauses, principal elements, and modifiers. Please pause your video right now. Analyze sentence A and come back to check. All right. Let's move you over. Are you ready? You're moving, you're moving, you're moving, you're moving. Isn't it fun to be moving? Ha ha! This part of our board has our sentence. 4 girls wrapped and stacked the birthday gifts. Please say this out loud with me and check your work while you're doing this at the same time so that I'm sure that you are learning and practicing these very things. I'm going to scoot it a little closer so that you guys can see it really well. Is that better? Are there any conjunctions in this sentence? Yes. And is a conjunction. Mark it. Are there any prepositional phrases in this sentence? 4 girls wrapped and stacked the birthday gifts. No. So we're on to principal elements. 4 girls wrapped and stacked the birthday gifts. This is a sentence and it is declarative. This sentence is about girls. So girls is our subject. This sentence tells us that girls wrapped and stacked. So wrapped and stacked are our predicates. They are the predicate verbs because they show action. There are no linking verbs because predicate verbs do not use linking verbs. And is our conjunction. Wrapped and stacked what? Gifts. So gifts is the direct object because it receives the action of the verb. What kind of gifts? Birthday gifts. Adjective because it modifies the noun. The adjective. Remember, we're just saying the and adjective because we know that that's an article adjective. We go back over here. How many girls? 4. Adjective because it modifies the noun. Do we have any prepositional phrases we need to connect as modifiers? We do not. Very well done. Now I want you to skip letter B, and I wrote it incorrectly on my board here. Skip letter B, and I want you to analyze letter C. Aunt Gabby baked and decorated a birthday cake for them. You begin with your conjunctions and then your phrases, clauses, principal elements, and modifiers. You may go and check your work. All right, back with you. Let's check it. Aunt Gabby baked and decorated a birthday cake for them. Are there any conjunctions in this sentence? Yes. Mark it with wings. Are there any prepositional phrases in this sentence? Aunt Gabby baked and decorated a birthday cake for them is a prepositional phrase. For, preposition. For whom? Them, object of the preposition. Back to our principal elements. Aunt Gabby baked and decorated a birthday cake for them. This is a sentence and it is declarative. This sentence is about Aunt Gabby. So Aunt Gabby is our subject. This sentence tells us that Aunt Gabby baked and decorated. So baked and decorated are our predicates. They are the predicate verbs because they show action. There are no linking verbs because predicate verbs do not use linking verbs. Baked and decorated what? Cake. Direct object because it receives the action of the verb. What kind of cake? A birthday cake. I'm going to have to go this way. Woo! Adjective because it modifies the noun. A adjective because it modifies the noun. We'll do it this way. Yours will be easier because you have it all on one line. We are not finished because we have not yet put this somewhere. This has to modify something. Baked and decorated, for them. You want to always connect it to the verb that is closest to the prepositional phrase if they will both work. They both work, baked it for them, decorated for them, but we're not going to connect it to both verbs. We're going to connect it to the most recent one. So for them, how she decorated it? For them, or why? Adverbial element because it modifies the verb and it is a prepositional phrase. We are now finished. Excellent practice on those. You do not have to do letter B or letter D unless you want to. If you would like to do it, I'm happy to take a look at it for you at the end of the day. But otherwise, I need you to complete number 2, those 3 sentences, remembering what my requirements were. If you don't remember, you can rewind this video and see them, and I will read them later when you turn them in. Have a great day. See you later.